Welcome to the Millennial Lawyer Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Millennial Lawyer Podcast with personal injury attorney Mark Shirian. I am your host, Kevin Rosenquist, and today's episode is the digital footprint, the hidden risk in your personal injury case. Mark, good to see you.
Great seeing you too, Kevin.
All right, we're going to talk about social media and how that's affecting personal injury cases. So, in your experience, how has the rise of social media sort of changed the way personal injury cases are handled?
Yeah, so social media has become a goldmine for insurance companies and defense attorneys. Anything posted online can be used to dispute claims.
Can you give me an example? Like what have you seen that happens that affects the case to that degree?
So a seemingly innocent post, like a vacation photo, can be twisted to argue that an injury isn't severe. So even a check-in at a gym can be damaging.
Wow, check-in at a gym. I guess I didn't really think about that. But maybe you're just using the steam room.
Even if you're trying to substantiate emotional distress, and there are photos of you out to dinner with your family, with your friends, and you're smiling, you're having a good time, they will use that against you.
Wow. Really? That's interesting. I mean, if you're under emotional distress, you might not be emotionally distressed all the time.
Well, that's the argument.
Yeah. How do social media posts from a client or the opposing party affect the outcome of a case? Can it be good in some ways, or is it generally negative?
Oh, I'll tell you how it could be good. If there's an accident and it has impacted your life, and you posted about the incident and how it's impacted you or your family, or there are photos of you injured or in a cast showing some sort of debilitation, then yeah, it can help you. But the problem with social media is everybody, for the most part, only posts their highlight reels. So usually it's going to show you in the best light possible without any sort of issues or ailments or anything like that. And that can be used against you because the insurance companies will show that they'll try to use these posts to undermine your claim.
How do they go about doing that? How do they use the posts to undermine the claim?
So these insurance companies and defense attorneys, they monitor posts, tagged photos, even private messages. And some of them will hire investigators to dig deeper. We've had that where clients were surveilled by the insurance company for a day to try to demonstrate that they're not really injured.
Wow, that's crazy. Does that happen often?
It happens, not often, but it does happen.
Yeah. What types of posts are particularly damning, if you will?
I from my experience, vacation posts, because number one, it shows you have the money to go on a trip. Number two, their perspective is you can't be that injured if you are able to get on a plane or sit in a car for a long time and go skiing or hang out with your family and friends, drink and have a good time. So I would say vacation photos are the most damaging.
When you get a new client or you take on a new case, what do you advise them as far as social media is concerned? Do you discuss it with them? It's
definitely discussed. The problem now is it's nearly impossible to tell your clients, stay off of social media. Because for a lot of people, it's the best way to stay in touch with others. I tell my clients, keep your social media private. So even if you are on social media, it would be very difficult for an insurance company or a defense attorney to access your social media if it's on private. And don't accept friends or followers that you don't necessarily know, because it could very well be the insurance company or defense attorney, the other party, trying to fish for information.
Are there situations where if you are private, that they can still access get access to your stuff?
Yeah, if they know someone that follows you. I would keep your friends list private as well, because let's say on Facebook, for example, your friends list is public. That basically tells them who you are associated. And if there are any mutual friends between your friends, then they may be able to access your profile even if it is private.
Can they go through illegal channels to get access to social media? Is that something that you can I don't know what the right term is, but
yeah, that is something in litigation that they do demand, and we typically object to that demand unless our clients did post about the incident on their social media. Then it would be relevant because it does show their recollection of the incident. So if they did post about the incident, that is something that we disclose. But just giving the other side full access to social media without anything else, that's something we typically object to.
Can there be situations where even past posts can affect a case? Like can other things come back to haunt people?
Absolutely. So, even old photos can be misinterpreted, and the safest approach is just to avoid posting anything, anything showing physical activity, travel, or even statements about the case should be avoided during a personal injury.
Can you share an example of a case where social media played a pretty big role in either strengthening or weakening the claim?
I don't know so much about a role in the case, but I once early in my career worked on a sexual harassment case where the other side found a photo of my client in a bikini. They had threatened to try to use that within the case. And I object to that so strongly because if you think of a victim who was sexually harassed, whether it was at work or anything else, you're going to say that this person is not allowed to wear a bikini and post that on social media. I think it could backfire big time for a lot of these defendants because like you said earlier, you're not allowed to enjoy yourself, especially if you've gone through something traumatic like an accident or sexual harassment. Does that mean you're not allowed to enjoy your life? So the defendants also need to be careful with how they attempt to try to exploit photos that they may find on social media. At the end of the day, we're human beings and we want to connect with people. And we want to, often when we're using social media, it is a way to express ourselves. And just because you're in an accident doesn't mean that that should be taken away from you.
Wow. In that situation, did it end up getting it?
We ended up resolving that.
Okay. Okay.
We never got to a trial. It was an interest because it was one of the first cases I ever worked on. And at first it was hard. It was difficult. Did we make a mistake by not telling the client, keep your social media private? But then there are ways of spinning it.
Mm-hmm.
It may very well backfire. Also, I will add to this discussion, I've had many cases in the press, and a lot of times my clients' names, unless it's a Jane Doe or John Doe and it's brought anonymously, their names are published. And oftentimes photos of my clients are used in the actual article that these reporters are able to find on social media. So again, important to keep your social media private so photos are not able to be obtained by reporters and the public.
Yeah, because it's an interesting thing because when when you get into social media and I'm not super into it. I know a lot of people are, but you don't think about that. You're not thinking about those you're not thinking about those kind of ramifications. Like, oh, if I was in an accident or if I had a sexual harassment suit, how would this affect me? No one thinks about that. So it's kind of a difficult balance.
Well, if you have an experienced personal injury attorney, then you have nothing to worry about because you will be guided through best practices with respect to social media, and you can avoid any sort of issues with respect to the other side obtaining photos or information about you on social media.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning into the Millennial Lawyer Podcast with personal injury attorney Mark Shirian. To connect with Mark, visit ShirianPC.com. And please like and subscribe to our channel and leave us a review. Mark, thanks so much for your time. I had a great time having you here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.